Hello YouTubes, this is Doofus K. Welcome to my Let's Play of Agricultural Simulator 2013. This is about the third time I've tried to do this video, and I think all the other versions were a little too long, so I think we're going to keep it a little shorter. I've already done a save game, but I'm going to start a new one anyway. So, just to give you kind of an idea of how I play it, this is actually the newest updated version, so it's 1.1.0.3. This is the Steam version. I'm assuming the retail version is the same. But they actually have fixed a lot of the issues. I could have done a Let's Play about 6 months ago, and I could have called it Crash to Desktop Simulator 2013, and it would have made some sense. I think those issues are gone now. It doesn't crash nearly as much on autosaves anymore. There are the occasional one, but it's not a huge deal. The key point is to save your game, and then you won't have that problem. So let's begin. I've already started a new game, so I'll just do the escape menu. The Great Chicken Migration 2013. Look at that. And I'm pretty sure they're going to walk right through the wall here. Well, I'm not going to wait for them to do that. So let's get started. Obviously, the point of this game, or one of the points of this game, is to make money. And regarding that point, I kind of stay away from the animals, at least to begin with. I find that... Yeah, that's right. I find that trying to do the animals correctly right away, look at him, he's going to walk right through the wall. Boop. Trying to take care of the animals right away, the proper way, is rather expensive because you have to buy all the special equipment. You know, like the mowers and the forage wagons, the tedder, the rake, a baler if you want. Plus you need a lot of grass, you need a lot of straw. It's complicated, so... While these chickens walk by, I'll sort of talk about what I'm going to do here. So I think this first episode, I'm going to try and, excuse me, try and focus on kind of the, getting started, or kind of the starting point. I have kind of a general build idea that I try and, buy certain equipment and do certain things right away so that I don't end up basically screwing myself later. Yeah, a lot of people probably won't agree with me on that. I know a lot of people do start with animals and trying to do crops right away, but I've had bad luck with that. So with that, let's just get started here. The first thing we're going to do is actually just make our field here quick. Oops. There are more guides on making fields, so I just hit C to get into the I don't know, farm overview menu, if you will. And that gives you kind of the space view of your farm. Excuse me. So what we have here is lots of options to make fields. You could make one like this, you could make one like this. I tend to make mine pretty long, but yet pretty narrow. I think that's a better... The AI does a better job driving that way. So let's just do it here. Now keep in mind that if the worker gets too close to the quote-unquote neighbor's land, that you will get a fine for that. So try and keep him as far, or her, as far away from that as you can. Now, I'm doing a pretty terrible job here, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. So once you have your field set up, you just right-click to verify, and it gives you a size. Click back to it because it's... Oh, it is the same. Okay. Sometimes it's not. Anyway, we're going to call this canola, and I'll explain why. Canola is, as in real life, sort of a cash crop in this game, and so if you plant this whole field in canola, you're gonna get some pretty big bucks. The save game that I did prior to this, I planted basically let's see, one, two, like 3.5 passes, and that was about $80,000 that I got out of that. So there's plenty of money to be had. So I think this first episode, like I said, I'm just going to kind of focus on the getting things ready and getting the AI plowing and stuff like that. So the first thing we need is a tractor. So hit O to get into the tractor buy or implement buy menu. Like I said, I have kind of a build that I like. Oops, that's not the one. There certainly are better options. I've had good luck with this tractor, and particularly good luck with this tractor and the big boy plow, and I'll show you that. You know, it's 167 horsepower, and it's only 96,000 euros, so I think this is probably a good option. So let's go ahead and buy this thing. Alright, $96,000 gone. The other thing we need is a plow. I tend to get the biggest implements you can. You can certainly buy these-ins, and the AI will actually probably do a better job of plowing, but it takes forever. It takes an eternity for them to do it. Nice. Looking good. So, I like this particular one. Now, the AI does kind of make a mess out of this because it's so huge. And you'll see why, but we're going to do it anyway. So, the first thing we do is we hook up our tractor. The AI cannot do that for you, so you must do it yourself. I'm using holding down the right mouse button to kind of move my view. That's one thing. I don't particularly know how much detail to go into here. I don't really have a good judgment about how much people know about this game, how much people care about this game, and I guess more importantly, how much they would like to know about this game. So, if you have any suggestions about, you know, what you want me to cover more, besides the usual planting and cultivating and fertilizing and all that stuff, please leave a comment, because some direction into what people want would make me happy. So now that we have this guy sort of lined up, when you create the field, the AI driver does tend to start at the first point that you put down, so that would be this one, and then they tend to travel towards the second point you put down, and you can't see it, but it's way down there. So if you make the first point here and the second one over there, he's going to go back and forth this short way, and that's going to take forever. So keep that in mind as well. And like I said, you know, if people would like me to go into more detail about this, I certainly can. I'm trying to keep the video to not 4 hours long. I did this previously from the start of this field to the end, and it was over 2 hours. And I just think that's a little too long. I think it's too much me blabbing and you know, just it's not cool. So we need a worker, and I know his name is Sebastian, but there he is. They do cost money. I don't actually know how much labor is. That would be an interesting fact to know. I don't know. I do know that if you fire them, it's about 2,500 euros, which isn't a huge amount, but, you know, if you have $0, then that's significant. So, kind of excuse my voice. I think I'm getting a cold or something, and or losing my voice, so might sound a little raspy, but okay. So now that he's in the tractor, we want to tell him what to do. Now you can see at the bottom he already knows what plow he has attached to the tractor. If he gets in and you don't see anything down here, you might want to disconnect the implement and reattach it. Sometimes things get a little weird. So you just do select field, select it. Now you see below the plow it says the name of the field. And then you do start. And you can see that it sort of generates this course for him. You can't see a lot of it because it's sort of, I think, underneath the terrain, but basically what he's going to do is go drive into the trees here, probably. He's also probably going to flip the plow over, which is also pretty awesome. And then he'll start going, and he's going to make a huge mess up here, but then that's fine. We'll show you that when that happens. And then when he gets down to the end, you can't see it, but there's like a little hook here, and he'll drive around through the trees, of course, and then onto the road probably, and then back for another pass. Workers do not get stuck on trees. I do think they get stuck on houses and stuff, but that's sort of a good feature, actually, because otherwise they would get stuck on everything. So as you can see, he's doing a pretty awesome job of backing that thing up here. Let me just get out of here. Oh. So yeah, some quality workmanship going on here with this guy. I think when he puts the plow down and flips it over, I think it should be fine. So he just put it down, quote unquote. I think he'll pull forward and then rotate it. So this is what I mean, they kind of make a mess, because, I mean, yeah. So everything sort of sorted itself out here, but then this kind of stuff happens right here. But that's fine, I'll let that slide. So yeah, there he is. He's going. The other thing I don't understand is this whole three-wheeled business. I don't know why it's doing that. It's possible this tractor isn't big enough. I don't really know. I mean, you would certainly think it would be, but perhaps not. So in the previous one that I did, I already started to buy all the other stuff and got a little too involved, I think, right away. So we're just going to kind of let this guy go, and I'll talk about some of the things that they have fixed and some of the things that they are going to add. I'll go into the tractor and get a better view. So like I said, this is the newest version that you can get on Steam, which is 1.1.0.3. There is a beta option where you can get sort of the, you know, pre-release patches, but it's really buggy. The issues that have plagued this game from the beginning have been numerous. Too many to tell here, but the main one has been the crashed desktop on autosave. You know, here you're trying to save your game automatically so you don't have issues, and it would just crash. Most likely balls up your save file too. So that has been fixed in this one. It only happened to me once in the last video, and that was 2 hours of playing. So they're making progress. And on that note, along with the updates on Steam, the developers, or two of them at least, are getting really involved in sort of the community regarding these issues and future patches and future plans, and, you know, requesting things that people want to see in the game. So I'm not sure if kind of the renewed interest from the developers is because of the Steam sale on this. I mean, I think that happens in a lot of games, is that you see a Steam sale and the game is sort of an unknown quality, and then because of all these sales, the developers start putting more effort into it. So it's unfortunate that it has to happen that way, but on the other hand, at least it's happening. You know, they're at least addressing the concerns. So I know one of the proposed things in the beta, the next beta patch, is multiplayer, so that will be interesting. Some of the other things that they've mentioned are modding support as well. And I hate to talk about Farming Simulator in these videos because they're not the same game. This is sort of hardcore, and Farming Simulator is sort of casual, at least in my opinion. And I'm sure people will have all sorts of comments about that statement, but I mean, it is true. This is more of a, step-by-step, more manual game. And Farming Simulator is, well, this is more of a simulator, and Farming Simulator is more of a game. I guess you could sort of think of it that way. I like both of the games. It sort of started out, I bought Farming Simulator 2013 on a Steam sale after some joking about it, and I think some beers as well. But, a friend of mine and I bought the game, and we played it, and we're like, oh, this is actually somewhat amusing, and now Farming Simulator is my highest played game in Steam. I think second only to this game. So, it's interesting, but this game, now that it's sort of had some renewed interest by people, I think has some future there. So, especially if they get modding support, I think that will, if they make some of the code available to people, people will start to fix it on their own, maybe. I know that's sort of the thing, is that, so if you hit the buy menu, clear all the filters here, there's only 132 items. If you hit historical, there's 157. So, that is a fair amount of items, but I think you could do with more. For example, like the tractors, there's plenty of. The extensions, there could be bigger plows, there could be bigger cultivators, and there could be bigger seeders. Some of these maps are freaking enormous, and, you're basically trying to empty the ocean with a spoon with some of these, extensions on these fields. It just takes forever, and, that may be sort of the whole point, I guess, but if you truly do want to buy all of these fields on this map, it would take you, your entire lifetime. Okay, so you start with this one, which is 800 and whatever $1,000, I think, if you want to sell it. Then the one next to it, right away, 856,000. So, you're talking big bucks. Now, on this particular map, you do start with, so in the bottom here, it shows you two things. Now, Grand River is this piece. Grafford is not here, it's down here. So that is broken, apparently, but... So you also own, on this particular map, US East, this piece of land down here. And this is also a pretty good chunk of land, but trying to keep track of two different AI drivers and two different fields, and trying to orchestrate that is a recipe for disaster. You're going to forget about something, or you're going to screw something up, or whatever. So, but anyway, down here, if you were to, you already own this piece, but if you were to buy this one, this is 492,000, so that's a little better, and you could make a pretty enormous field with that land right there. And then, same thing with this. This is also 492. You could also make a huge field going this way. And then this one's 267, 276, 708. I don't know why this is so expensive. I mean, you do get 3 canoes, so maybe that's it. 300,000 for this little plot. I'm assuming that you can put animals in here. I'm just assuming. I don't know. This is 204. Now, these windmills, they do have placeable windmills. So if you go to the little... I should probably turn that frames per second thing off, because that's annoying. So if you go to the little home icon, you can actually buy placeables, and I don't ever remember these being in here, so this might have been another addition as well. So this like manure tank you can put down, and this is... we'll get to manure later. That's another kind of gripe that I have. But the placeable windmills, or whatever they call them in this game, wind turbine, obviously this is the little guy, but the big guy is here. So these little guys will make you money, about $1,000 I think a month. However, they're really expensive to maintain. It's like $600 a month to maintain it, so we'll get to that. That's a different episode, but so there are lots of things that you can do in this game. You know, just watching this guy plow for 20 minutes is not the only thing that you can do. Normally at this time, people would probably just ignore this guy and go deal with the animals, but I'm not going to do that because the animals irritate me, and I don't want to rage quit right away when I can't feed them grass more than, you know, 1 day's worth at a time. But we'll get to that. So, the whole point of that rant was, you know, you're trying to buy all this land, and you know, you're talking millions of dollars in game, obviously, that you need to buy all this stuff. So like this is 856, this is another 672, you know, 444, 300. You know, so I mean, you're talking huge dollar amounts here. You're not going to get that taking eggs, you know, 1 crate at a time to the market to sell. It's going to take you an eternity to do that. So, I think starting off with canola and maybe taking a few harvests off of here, getting some more money, you know, getting some more equipment, I think that's, at least as far as I can tell, the best option that you have. But I'm sure that there's going to be lots of people that disagree with me, and that's fine. Please do. But please comment about it, and I will discuss things, and we'll try it a different way if we have to. You know, I guess it depends on what you want to do. If you don't care about this, or if this irritates you, then by all means do the animals. And I will. It'll just be a future episode. I'm going to try and keep these to about a half an hour apiece, just so people don't get too irritated with me. You know, I can certainly make them longer, so if people are complaining to me that they're not long enough, I will change that to like an hour. We'll see. We'll see how many people watch these and see what people think and go from there, but I'm actually going to try and not sort of like fast forward through things. We're at 20 minutes already, and I think by the time this guy finishes, we'll probably be right around a half an hour, so I think that's pretty good. But what I don't want to do is just, you know, make a video, oh, well, here's how to set up a field, and here's how to plow it, and then, you know, 5 minutes later, oh, field's done. You know, that doesn't really accomplish anything as far as teaching people, you know, what to do and show people kind of my playing style. But then again, if people don't care, then I will do that, and I will fast forward time, but we'll see. So this guy's just taking a sweet time. You can see what I mean about this. You know, he does an excellent job down here, but then this whole thing, not a huge deal. The cultivator will take care of that. You can see I didn't do a great job. You know, the distance between here and here looks a lot different than here and here. There are some tutorials, some better tutorials on how to set up your field. Usually try and line up these points with some sort of landmark and then use the, you know, the arrow, the left and the right arrow. So the up and the down key on your keyboard will zoom in and out. So that's not good. But the left and the right arrows will just move your view, and so you can sort of use that to your advantage to set the field up. But there are other videos about that, and I'm not particularly good at it, so I'm not going to go over it. So I think with the patches and the beta testing and the kind of community input and the devs input, I think this game really has potential to become significantly better than what it is now. What is he doing up here? Is he gonna drive into the lake? Yep, he sure is. This is why we can't have nice things. And he's probably stuck. sometimes you need to give him a little bit of help. You would think that he wouldn't need to make this huge turn, but... Oh, fun fact. The AI can drive through bushes and stuff, but you can't. So we just made a huge disaster out of this. Alright, problem solved. Now you do, when you are doing, like, moving the AI, you do kind of want to get them lined up. Otherwise, they do some sort of funky stuff. They'll, like, drive halfway around the world to get back here. Oh, and he flipped it over, didn't he? I'll let him take care of that. Alright, so you should just be able to say start, or not. Oh, maybe it was because I was in there. Ah, okay, so select field, boom, boom. Alright. They tend to do a pretty good job about realizing, like, what has been done and what hasn't been done, so at least that portion of the game is not completely broken. So that's a good sign. Or maybe not. Or I just completely lied to you. Might have to do that bit by hand. The old-fashioned way, as it were. Well, poop. Oh well. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Other than that little debacle here with the ocean down here, I think he's doing a pretty good job. I probably could have moved this line a little bit closer, but that's fine. Let's go say hi to the animals quick. So as you can see, there's, you know, quite the different types of animals going on here. We got sheeps and cows and horses, and pigs and chickens are over there. Yep, big boy. So, on US West, they do have brown cows. I'm assuming those are for meat. These are dairy cows. And these are not dairy horses, so be aware. There have been some pictures on the Steam community about, or pictures of actual modded tractors in this game, and I'm not really sure how that works. I don't know if they're just working on the modding support, or if they've already done it and they just haven't officially released it yet, but I'm pretty excited. I think that's going to be pretty cool. That's one of the cool things about Farming Simulator, is the vast quantity of mods. However, there also is a vast quantity of crap mods for that game, so I hope that some quality control can be done. I know for Farming Simulator, fs-uk.com, they do a fantastic job of kind of weeding out the junk mods. So I'm sure if they add modding support for this game, they're going to start doing it for this one too. So I wouldn't be too surprised if that happened. So, and who knows? Maybe there'll be Farming or Agricultural Simulator 2014. Who knows? I guess that actually brings up another point. If people would like to see me play Farming Simulator, I can certainly do that as well. You know, I don't have any particular attachment to this game. I just was interested to try it now that this patch was out. I've watched quite a few Let's Play videos on Farm Sim, and they've all been pretty amusing when crazy nonsense goes down. So I would be totally fine with doing some of those videos myself. So if you hear your clicks, that's me muting my mic so you don't hear me cough into the microphone, because I'm sure you don't want to hear that. So I've noticed that if you put a front weight on this tractor, even the small one, it's like too low to the ground, and so when he's sort of half in and half out of the field, the front weight kind of drags on this ridge here, and if you end up with some weird ridge like a little divot here or something, the front weight will get stuck, and then he will get stuck, and then you'll have to go redo it. And sometimes when he gets stuck and then it comes loose, this whole thing goes flying over here, and then you end up with this huge divot that is not super easy to fix. You can cultivate it and grass will grow again on it, but it's not the easiest thing to do. So I mentioned the fines. So this is our land here, and then on the other side of this little yellow stake lined here, this is the quote neighbor's land. And so what happens is, if I think the tractor can go onto the land, but if the implement goes onto the land, raised or lowered or working or not working, you will get $1,000 or €1,000 fine. I think from here on out I'm going to call it dollars, just so I don't forget to say euro or whatever it is. So you get $1,000 fine, and it isn't just like a one-time thing. If you stay on it, it will continuously give you $1,000 fines, and you know it will add up. So I wonder if this is his final pass. I kind of doubt it. So we're almost at the half-an-hour mark, so... Whoa, whoa. I know that they added this little plowing, like, animation thing, and that's pretty cool. It's like Dune. Brown sandworms flinging all over the place from the plow. I mean, this is a fairly good sized plow, so I mean that's not a huge complaint of mine, but it would be nice to see, you know, some really huge equipment. And in AgSim 2011, they did actually give you an error, like if you tried to attach this huge plow to like a little tiny tractor, they would tell you, you know, this extension requires more horsepower. And I'll show you in the cultivating episode next that you can hook the huge cultivator up to that little tiny tractor, and you can plow that thing at full speed and it works just fine. So it would be nice to see kind of some of that gameplay stuff, you know, be added, just so you couldn't sort of cheat like I'm doing here. And I don't think that this tractor could probably haul this plow either, but I'm sort of cutting some corners here. But I just think the models and stuff look pretty nice in here, and then the dirt. I mean, look at that. Have you ever seen such beautiful dirt? I sure haven't. He's doing his three-wheeled thing again. Actually, maybe he's not. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So once again, like I said, if you have any particular comments, if you think I'm a stupid dumb head, or if you like the video so far, if you think that I'm a terrible person and you would like me to never do a video again, please comment about that, because I would appreciate it. I'll try and read all the comments if I actually get any. I'll try to read all of them and sort of address people's concerns and try and fit in as much stuff as I can. So, feel free. So this is kind of where you never really know what the AI driver is going to do here. I mean, technically speaking, he's done, but he's probably going to turn around and plow this little tiny bit, like right here, or something. So you just never know with these guys what they're going to do. It does help to give them a bigger tractor. They don't get stuck as much, and they tend to do a better job if they actually can, you know, have the horsepower necessary to actually pull these things. That's actually the player skin for me, not the worker, so that's interesting. Sorry about that, I had to mute myself again. So he's probably redoing this whole thing just for that tiny little strip all the way down. But I guess he's a perfectionist, so we'll just let him do it. He is on 3 wheels. So, let's recap here. I guess he's almost done. I think we're just going to ignore this piece, and I'll do this by hand since he got stuck down in the drink down there. We went over the field creation very quickly. We went over buying a worker very quickly. The plowing, we're not doing ourselves, so that's fine. So basically we didn't do anything this episode ourselves, other than put these 4 stakes down and click some buttons, but I feel pretty good about that. So next episode we will go over, I wonder if he's actually done. Maybe. Next episode we'll go over cultivating. We'll probably make that might be a little bit shorter video. There really isn't much to cultivating. I'll just go over some of the options for the cultivators, and some of the experiences that I've had with them, good and bad. So I think this sort of gives you a good idea of kind of what to expect out of this field. It's a fairly good sized field, and you know, like I said, I only did about half of this, not even half, and I got about almost $80,000 out of canola from it. And actually, I didn't even sell all of it. I kept some for myself. I sold 10,000, I think, liters of canola, and that's about 80,000. It was like 78,000 something or other. So, as you can tell, you know, if I would have planted the whole thing and harvested the whole thing, it would have been quite a bit more than that. So I'm pretty excited that I actually found this way, because I tried doing this with wheat before, and it's like, oh, you know, you only get like 30 grand, and it's like, oh man, it's gonna take freaking forever to do this. Ooh, is he officially done? Nope, he's just gonna run me over. That's fine. The other thing to note is that I have kind of the graphics detail turned down a little bit just for the sake of recording. So don't judge this game's graphics on my settings. However, this is an Ivy Bridge i7 and a GTX 670, and it's this game runs like poopy on it. So keep that in mind. If you do some of the other fancier stuff, like shadows especially, I have the shadow detailed. Oh, I have the shadow detail turned down pretty low, because if you turn them way up, like it's trying to do shadows and all the grass, and it is just a disaster. So first things first, I'm going to save this thing. As you can see, I've already done this. Let's Play 1. Actually, we're going to call this Let's Play 2. Oh, nope, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. You can watch me type. My phone's ringing. Alright, Let's Play 2. Done. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. This is Doofus K again. Thanks for watching my first Let's Play video of Agricultural Simulator 2013. And I'll have the second one about cultivating up shortly. Alright, bye.